In 1999, two researchers made a discovery that should have changed everything we know about success. It didn't, because nobody wanted to accept what it actually meant. So what did they find? Your brain receives approximately 11 million bits of sensory information every single second. But your conscious mind can only process about 50, which means your brain has to delete, ignore, or filter out 99% of reality before you ever become aware of it. So what decides what gets through? The answer is your reticular activating system, a network of neurons that acts as a gatekeeper between raw reality and your conscious experience. But the RAS doesn't filter randomly, it filters based on instructions. Priorities you've set through repetition, emotion, and focused thought. But those instructions don't update instantly. There's a delay, sometimes days, sometimes months. Which means the reality you're experiencing today isn't responding to who you are right now. It's responding to who you were when the instructions were last written. Present is an echo of your past thoughts. And until you understand that delay, you're going to keep trying to change the output without ever touching the input. I call this echo theory. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to engineer your reality instead of just reacting to it. Let me describe someone and tell me if this sounds familiar. He works hard, probably harder than most people around him. He follows the advice, reads the books, shows up early, stays late, does everything he's supposed to do, and yet the results don't match the effort. He watches other people who seem to work and stress less, somehow attract opportunities that never seem to land in his inbox, and he can't figure out what they know that he doesn't. So he does what logical people do. He works harder, optimizes more, reads another book, adds another system, and nothing changes. This is why he's trying to change the output without understanding the input. He's editing the screen while the signal is coming from somewhere else entirely. Think about it like this. If you had an old television with bad reception, you wouldn't fix it by tapping the screen. You'd adjust the antenna, you'd fix the signal. But most people spend their entire lives tapping the screen, working on the symptoms, grinding against a reality that was already determined before they woke up that morning. The signal was already sent. The echo theory explanation is simple. Your current reality is not a reflection of your current thoughts. It's a delayed projection of old ones. And the delay is longer than you think. I've noticed a pattern, both in my own life and in the people I work with. Major shifts in external reality tend to show up about 60 to 90 days after a major shift in internal programming. Sometimes faster, rarely slower. The job offer comes 3 months after you actually decided you were done settling. The relationship shows up 60 days after you stopped being desperate. The money appears about 90 days after you stopped being afraid of it. Not because the universe is magical, because your brain needs time to rewrite its filtering instructions. Remember those 11 million bits of information? Your RAS is constantly scanning that flood of data, looking for anything that matches your current instructions. But current doesn't mean what you thought this morning. It means what you've been thinking consistently, emotionally, and repetitively over the past weeks and months. That's the input that actually gets written to the system. So when you wake up tomorrow and try to think positive for 10 minutes before checking your email, you're not changing anything. You're whispering into a room where the speakers are blasting last month's playlist. The echo is still playing. Now, this is where people usually hear this and feel defeated. Great, so I'm stuck with the results of my old thinking for another 90 days. No, that's not how this works. The delay isn't a prison, it's a feature. Once you understand it, you can use it. You can start writing new instructions today, knowing exactly when to expect the echo to change. But first, you need to understand what's actually happening in your brain. At the base of your brain, where the spinal cord meets the brainstem, there's a small bundle of neurons about the size of your pinky finger. This is the reticular activating system, and it's running your life more than you realize. The RAS has two primary jobs. First, it regulates consciousness. It's why you wake up when someone says your name, even in a noisy room. It's why a mother can sleep through a thunderstorm but wake up the second her baby makes a sound. The RAS decides what's important enough to bring to your conscious attention. Second, and this is the part that matters for echo theory, the RAS filters incoming sensory data based on your programmed priorities. You've experienced this before. You buy a new car and suddenly you see that car everywhere. You learn a new word and it starts appearing in every article you read. You start thinking about having kids and suddenly every second person you meet is pregnant. The cars were always there. The words were always there. The pregnant people were always there. Your RAS just wasn't tagging them as relevant until you gave it new instructions. So how does the RAS decide what matters? 3 inputs. First, repetition. Whatever you think about consistently gets flagged as important. This is why advertising works. This is why habits form. This is why you can't stop noticing things you've been worrying about. Your brain interprets repetition as importance. He keeps thinking about this, so it must matter. I'll show him more of it. Second, emotion. Thoughts with strong emotional charges get priority access. This is why a single traumatic event can rewire your filtering for years. The emotion tells your brain, this is survival level important. Never forget this. It's also why you can't manifest something you don't actually believe is possible. The logical thought says, I want to be wealthy. But the emotional charge attached to your money thoughts is fear and scarcity. Guess which instruction your RAS follows? Third, identity. Your RAS protects your self-concept at all costs. It will filter out opportunities that don't match who you believe yourself to be, even if consciously you say you want them. This is why some people sabotage themselves right before a breakthrough. Their RAS is doing its job. This level of success doesn't match his identity. Flag it as a threat. So now we get to the part that creates the echo. Your RAS doesn't update in real time. It can't. There are too many inputs to process, so it works in cycles. It batches your instructions over time, looks for patterns, and then updates the filter. Think of it like a software update. You don't get a new version of your filtering system every time you have a thought. You get periodic updates based on the cumulative weight of your recent programming. What counts as recent? The research varies, but most neuroscientists point to somewhere between 21 and 90 days of consistent input before significant filtering changes occur. This is why affirmations feel useless at first. You say, I am wealthy for 3 days, look at your bank account, see no change, and conclude it doesn't work. But you weren't giving your brain instructions. You were making noise. The signal never reached the control room. For a thought to become an instruction, it needs repetition over time, emotional weight, and consistency with your identity, or a gradual shift in that identity. Then, and only then, does your RAS start showing you a different reality. And this is the part that matters. By the time you see the results, the work is already done. The opportunities appearing in your life right now, that's not the universe responding to yesterday's positive thinking. That's the echo of programming you did months ago, which means if you want different results 90 days from now, you have to start writing different instructions today. I know what you're thinking. This sounds nice, but where's the proof? Fair question. Let's look at the evidence. In pharmaceutical trials, researchers have to account for something called the placebo effect. Give someone a sugar pill and tell them it's medicine, and a significant percentage of them will actually get better. The numbers vary by condition. For pain management, placebos are effective about 30% of the time. For depression, closer to 40%. For some conditions, placebos outperform actual medication. The standard explanation is that patients believe they're getting medicine, so they feel better. But that explanation misses what's actually happening neurologically. When someone takes a placebo believing it's real medicine, their brain literally changes its filtering. Pain signals that would normally reach conscious awareness get downgraded. Neurotransmitter production shifts. The body's healing responses activate, not because of belief in some mystical sense, but because the brain received new instructions and updated the filter accordingly. The patient's expectation became a program. The program changed what their RAS flagged as relevant, and their experienced reality shifted as a result. That's neuroscience. In 1996, Dr. Blaslatto at the University of Chicago conducted a study that still gets cited in sports psychology programs. He took a group of basketball players, measured their free throw accuracy, then split them into 3 groups. Group 1 practiced free throws every day for 30 days. Group 2 did nothing. Group 3 never touched a basketball, but spent 30 minutes every day visualizing themselves making perfect free throws. After 30 days, he measured again. Group 2, as expected, showed no improvement. Group 1, the physical practice group, improved by 24%. Group 3, the visualization-only group, they improved by 23%, nearly identical results, without touching a basketball. Now, the standard explanation is that visualization trains the neural pathways, which is true. But what they don't usually mention is this. The visualization group wasn't just imagining the physical mechanics. They were programming their RAS to recognize and seek out the micro-adjustments needed for accuracy. They were writing instructions. And 30 days later, when they actually picked up a basketball, their filtering system was already tuned to the right frequency. The physical group had to discover those adjustments through trial and error. The visualization group's brains were already showing them exactly what to look for. Same improvement, different mechanism. You might have heard of the invisible gorilla experiment. If not, let me explain. Researchers at Harvard showed participants a video of people passing basketballs and asked them to count the number of passes made by the team in white shirts. Halfway through the video, someone in a gorilla suit walks into the frame, beats their chest, and walks off. About 50% of participants completely miss the gorilla. They're so focused on counting passes that their RAS filters out the gorilla as irrelevant noise. When researchers tell them about the gorilla afterward, most people don't believe it. They're certain they would have noticed a gorilla. So the researchers play the video again, and there it is, clear as day, walking right through the middle of the screen. The gorilla was always there, their brain deleted it. Now think about your life through this lens. How many opportunities have walked directly through your field of vision and your RAS deleted them because they didn't match your current instructions? How many connections, ideas, open doors were right there and you never consciously registered them? The gorilla experiment isn't about attention, it's about filtering. And your filter is being programmed every single day, whether you're doing it intentionally or not. The only question is this. Who's writing the code? So how do you actually use this? If your current reality is an echo of old programming, how do you write new instructions that your RAS will actually execute? I've broken this down into 4 phases, and I'll walk you through each one. Before you can reprogram anything, you need to know what's currently running. Almost nobody does this step. They jump straight to affirmations and vision boards without understanding what instructions are already installed. That's like installing new software on a computer full of viruses. The new program might run for a while, but the malware eventually corrupts it. The audit process is simple. Examine your default thoughts in 3 areas: money, relationships, and identity. Not what you want to think, what you actually think when you're not trying to think positively. What runs in the background when you're stressed, tired, or caught off guard? If your default money thought is, I have to work hard for every dollar, then that's the instruction your RAS is running. It will filter out opportunities that look too easy, because easy money doesn't match the program. If your default relationship thought is, people always leave eventually, then your RAS is scanning for exit signs in every connection you make. It will find them because you told it to look. Your defaults are your instructions. Write them down, all of them, the ugly ones especially, because you can't override what you haven't identified. Once you've identified the old programs, you need to delete them. Now, I'm not talking about pretending they don't exist. Suppression doesn't work. Your brain knows when you're lying to it. I'm talking about neutralization, taking the emotional charge off the old thought so it stops being flagged as important. The simplest technique is pattern interruption. When you catch yourself running an old program, whether it's a worry loop, a scarcity thought, or an identity-limiting belief, you interrupt it immediately, out loud if possible. Some people snap a rubber band on their wrist, some say cancel or delete. The specific method matters less than the consistency. What you're doing is training your brain to stop giving those thoughts repetition. Remember, repetition is one of the 3 inputs that programs your RAS. Every time you catch a thought and interrupt it, you're reducing its repetition score. You're telling your brain, this is not a priority, stop flagging it. Over time, the old program loses its weight. It might still pop up occasionally, but your RAS stops building reality around it. Now you write the new instructions. This is where manifestation content usually fails. They tell you to visualize what you want as if you already have it, which is partially correct, but misses the mechanism. Your RAS doesn't respond to fantasy, it responds to specificity, emotion, and repetition. This is how you write instructions it will actually execute. First, specificity. Don't visualize being rich. Your brain doesn't know what that means. Visualize checking your account and seeing a specific number. Visualize the exact conversation where someone offers you the opportunity. Visualize the specific Tuesday when everything clicks. The more detail, the better. Your RAS needs coordinates, not vibes. Second, emotion. You have to actually feel the reality you're describing, not fake excitement. Real emotional engagement with the scenario. This is why morning visualization often fails. You're going through the motions while thinking about your to-do list. There's no emotional weight. The instruction never gets sent. Third, repetition. This isn't a one-time exercise. You need to run the new program daily, minimum for at least 30 days before expecting your RAS to update. I call this process neural scripting. You're literally writing the script your brain will use to filter reality. This is where echo theory differs from passive manifestation. You don't sit on your couch waiting for the universe to deliver. You move, but you move differently. Once your RAS is tuned to new instructions, it starts surfacing opportunities, connections, and ideas that match the new filter. Your job is to act on them. This is what I call inspired action. It's not grinding, it's not forcing, it's not working 80 hours a week hoping something lands. It's recognizing that your reprogrammed brain is now showing you things it was hiding before and taking action when they appear. The people who fail at this process usually fail for one of 2 reasons. Either they do the internal work and then wait passively for reality to change without any movement on their part. Or they do the internal work and then ignore it completely, going back to grinding and forcing and trying to make things happen through sheer effort. Both miss the point. The internal work changes what you see. The action converts what you see into results. You need both. So let me bring this together. Your reality right now, your bank account, your relationships, your opportunities, that's an echo. A delayed projection of thoughts and beliefs you programmed weeks or months ago. You can't change the echo by working harder on the echo. You change it by writing new instructions at the source. Your reticular activating system is filtering 11 million bits of information down to 50. It's deciding what becomes real to you and what gets deleted. And it's taking orders from your repetitive thoughts, your emotional charges, and your identity beliefs. The men who seem to effortlessly attract what they want, they're not lucky. They're not connected. They just figured out how to write the instructions before the echo arrives, and now you know how it works. But knowing isn't enough. You've probably known versions of this before. The question is whether you'll actually use it. If you're watching this and thinking, I need more than a video, I get it. Echo theory is the concept, but implementing it, actually running the audit, deleting the old programs, writing the neural scripts, taking the right action at the right time, that's where people get stuck. That's why I built the Control Room. It's a private community of men who are done with the grind and hope approach. Men who want the actual mechanics behind reality creation, not the crystals and astrology version. Inside, you get the full protocol. Step-by-step training on each phase I walked you through today. The audit, the deletion, the blueprint, the execution. Every week, I drop new neural programming tracks. These are specifically designed audio sessions that help you write and reinforce new instructions. Think of them as meditation for people who hate meditation. And you get access to the Brotherhood, a private community of logical, ambitious men who are working through the same process. Men you can actually talk to about this stuff without feeling like you're at a spiritual retreat you didn't sign up for. If you're ready to stop tapping the screen and start adjusting the signal, the link is below this video. The echo is going to change either way. The only question is whether you're writing the new instructions or letting your old programming keep running the show. I'll see you in the control room.